I'm taking it in. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you to all of the words of gratitude that can't begin to capture how I feel about all of you. What we call the beginning is often the end. And to make an end is to make a beginning. Those are the words of T.S. Eliot, who seems to be echoing one of the most significant beginnings in the history of our people, God's calling to Abraham. Lech lecha, go forth from your home and begin the journey toward a bright and blessed future. Lech lecha teaches us that there is no going without leaving, no moving toward without moving from, no beginning without ending, and no ending that's not also a beginning. So what are we doing here tonight? Marking an ending or a beginning? Celebrating the past or looking toward the future? I think Jewish spirituality and T.S. Eliot would agree that the answer is both. At this moment, I'm looking back on my 20-year relationship with Gann Academy. I feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Ilu finu male shira kayam. If my mouth was filled with as much song as the water in the sea, I still could not express how thankful I am to God for all of the blessings in my life and to every person who's been part of my journey and who has helped bring me and Gann to this moment. So let me take you back to just over 20 years ago. I was a passionate, idealistic 23-year-old. As a local Boston kid from the North Shore, whose intergenerational family lived within a 10-minute drive of one another, my parents had always reminded me never to forget where I came from. Thank you to my mother, to my father of blessed memory, and to my entire family for the grounding, unconditional love and encouragement to be my authentic self. And what a blessing that there are 4 generations of my family, including my 3 living grandparents, here tonight. The JCC and Jewish summer camp had given me a strong sense of connection to the Jewish community and the Jewish people. I had been awakened intellectually and spiritually by a high school experience that deepened my sense of what it means to be human. But it was only after college, when I spent the year living and learning in Israel, that I had discovered the richness of Jewish life and realized the profound depth and beauty of Judaism. At 23 years old, having just returned from that year in Israel, I was on fire. Yet not sure whether or how these different worlds and parts of myself would come together. And I certainly wasn't sure what this would mean for my career or my future. And then I met Gann Academy, the new Jewish high school of Greater Boston. And for me, it was love at first sight. Inspired by its visionary founder, my mentor and friend, Rabbi Danny Lehman, New Jew was in its first year and growing fast. I was hired as the director of athletics and extracurricular activities. Danny, thank you for seeing something in me, for inspiring me, and for creating this extraordinary school. We would not be here tonight without you. At a startup high school that's redefining Jewish educational excellence and Jewish pluralism, no day was the same as the next. I got to envision a pluralistic Shabbaton with Professor Jonathan Sarna. I would lead spiritual discussion groups in the morning and coach squash in the afternoon. I drove a little yellow school bus that had no business being on the road. And I even taught a math class, for which I still apologize to those brave students. My colleagues were graduate students, veteran teachers, rabbis, and scholars of every discipline. So work consisted of daily conversations about Torah and literature, history, philosophy, and science. We built a learning community around big questions about educational vision and philosophy. How do we make Jewish learning and life relevant and compelling to the next generation? How do we develop critical thinkers and seekers during these formative adolescent years? How do we create opportunities for pioneering teenagers to discover their passions and pursue excellence in all areas of human endeavor? And how do we empower our students to be our partners in creating an intentionally pluralistic community and building a new kind of school? It didn't take me long to realize that this was my calling. New Jew launched my journey as a Jewish educational leader. So when I came back almost a decade later and was named Gann Academy's second head of school, it was a new beginning for me and the school, but it was also a coming home and a dream come true. Now, 10 years later, our school has changed and evolved as education, the Jewish community, and the world around us have changed. Yet the same essential questions, mission and vision, culture and core values that turned this dream into a reality 20 years ago continue to animate our school as we launch into our third decade. We honor what is timeless, and we are not afraid to change. This is the reason why we have become a model of Jewish pluralism, Israel education, teacher growth and development, student leadership and entrepreneurship, character education, and more. This is the reason that our Board of Trustees has embraced succession planning and leadership transition as opportunities to imagine an even brighter future. We have never been readier for this transition. Next year, we'll have an interim leader, Dr. Jerry Katz, who will bring wisdom, integrity, and experience to our school. And our search process is already underway and has engaged hundreds of members of our community about the vision and direction of Gann and what we're looking for in our next leader. We announced this Fund for the Future less than 2 months ago, and we've already raised almost $5 million to sustain our groundbreaking programs and to fuel our innovation for many years to come. Thank you to tonight's chairs, to Jennifer Weinstock and our incredible development team for making this night happen, to all of the board presidents who've been my partners over the years, and to the finest board of trustees that any leader of any organization could dream of. You have lifted me up and challenged me to be the best leader I can be. I'm grateful to the Gann parents and alumni parents who've entrusted us with your children's hearts and minds. You inspire me with your commitment to our school and to your children's education. And thank you to this incredible community, led by our fearless leader, Barry Schrage, for investing in our school and our next generation, and for ensuring that Gann will remain a jewel in the crown of the greater Boston Jewish community. I've been reflecting on why I love this school so much. And I want to highlight one of our core messages. At a time when our students are bombarded with messages about success that focus on what they do rather than on who they are, at a time when doing school and racing to nowhere dominate so many educational cultures, we ask, who will you become? This question reflects our belief that education is a humanistic enterprise. These formative adolescent years are about learning skills and gaining knowledge, of course, and they're also about developing our students' hearts and minds, Jewish identities, and messy teenage selves as they get ready to make their way through the world with confidence and humility, with courage and conviction, with a sense of who they are and where they come from, with faith in the people they will become, and with the understanding that Jewish learning and wisdom, practice and culture can inspire and empower them on their human journeys. In this sense, we don't only challenge our students to fulfill their sacred obligation to repair the world. As a school, we aspire to be a tikkun, a repair, in the face of so much brokenness in our educational systems, in our democracy, and in our world. And like the work of Tikkun Olam, the sacred work of education, of teaching and learning, change and growth, only happens when extraordinary people feel connected to one another and care deeply about each other and about the learning process. It is our relationships of care and connection that are the foundation upon which we have the courage to strive and to create. We've built this culture because of the finest faculty and staff any school could ask for. I want to express my deepest gratitude to my beloved colleagues at Gann Academy for living out our values, for loving our students as people, and for believing in their divine potential. A special thank you also to our outstanding senior leadership team. I feel blessed that because of you, it has not been lonely at the top. And we also sustain this culture because of our students, who get that they are part of something larger than themselves, and who strive to live gracefully and commit humbly in the face of a nuanced and complex reality. Thank you to all of my students, present and past, for being real and authentic, for bringing your beautiful selves to school every day, for having the courage to make your way through a confusing and sometimes scary world, and for taking responsibility for our shared future. The best part for me about being the chief educational officer of this school is that I've had the privilege of learning and growing as an educator, a leader, a person, and a Jew, together with all of you. Together, we have celebrated joys and successes, and we've weathered frustrations and challenges. Our journey has included beginnings and endings. This is, after all, the only way to grow. And through it all, you've been patient and loving, and you've given me the space to become the person I am today. You are my partners and my friends, my students and my teachers, my fellow travelers on the journey of being and becoming. Of course, my greatest and most patient supporters and teachers are my wife and children. And Gann has been a family and will continue to be a family to them for many years to come. Thank you, Jill, Lishi, Meital, Maor, and Alana, for your love and your support. So here's the best part about this ending. We are about to co-author a new chapter in the same book that we've been writing for the past 20 years and that many of you in this room have been writing for a lot longer than that. As I move into my new role at CJP, I look forward to working together to create the strongest, most vibrant, dynamic Jewish community we can be. A community in which Gann Academy and all of the institutions about which we care so much will continue to flourish and thrive. This truly is just the beginning. Thank you.